Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Motorman Dan, and today we're going to be taking a look at the hand Gatling. It's medium ranged, very fast firing, physical attack with secondary caltrops, bursts, placing tiny exploding traps on the ground. It's a bit of a run-on sentence there. To get the unique upgrades, you have to gib 400 enemies. We haven't got, well, we got this, and then the save file thing, so we don't have it, but anyways, that's what it requires. Level upgrades is to improve accuracy. Unique upgrades is to deal acid damage or area of effect on the secondary. The secondary seems a little bit lackluster to me. I think some people have mentioned that they use it. I'd be curious if you guys like the secondary or not. It just doesn't seem like the greatest thing in the world. But acid damage isn't maybe what I'd go for either. If you run acid on it, it is a good way to apply acid to a lot of enemies, though. So if you're looking to add acid to your kill box for combos, the hand Gatling definitely could be the choice for you. It's certainly better than the Alchemist Satchel, that's for sure. All right, and to gib or to jib stands short for giblets or giblets. That is to separate orc parts. So like when they die, you might see their limbs fly off right there. Their body, their torso flies off, their leg flies off, their arm flies off, whatever. And that is jibbing or gibbing the enemy. I think, does Kelsey say it? No, I think it was Zoe from Unchained used to say, isn't jib short for giblets or something along those lines. So anyways, it's just kind of a thing that's always been in orcs. It doesn't really do anything, but I guess it does now because it unlocks the hand Gatling unique upgrade. So that's where that's at. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the game files. All right, the first thing to look at is it does headshots. The secondary cooldown is 0.5 seconds, so you can somewhat spam it, I guess. Everything else is pretty standard. It doesn't cost anything. And here we see the headshot multiplier is 0.6, which means they take 40% less headshot damage. So they had to do that. They do it for this and the blunderbuss just because you have so many projectiles at a short time doing headshots that having it have a full headshot value like most other things would just make it too overpowered. So they nerfed it, the headshot by reducing the headshot value by 40%, leaving it at 60% of its full value of 100 for most weapons. And that's it. Everything else is pretty standard for ranged weapons. All right, hand Gatling attributes. It goes from 5 attacks per second to 30 attacks per second. The attack, well, we'll look at it in game, but it increases attack speed. Here, as you can see, primary fire rate ramp time is within 1 second. So within 1 second, it goes from 5 attacks per second to 30 attacks per second. Projectile count is 12 for the secondary. The minimum radius is 20, maximum radius is 450. Divide that by 150, and that is how close it is to you within grid square. Grid square is the size of the footprint of an archer. The damage for the secondary is 20, so 20 per for each of those. So you're looking at 240 damage total if they hit everything, which I mean, it just seems lackluster with how much damage it actually does and how good it is. But then here's, and that's with the upgrade. That's also with the upgrade. Here's the AoE radius is 200, which actually isn't too bad if you can stack them all in one place. That's not too bad. Primary damage for the auto attack is 3. Secondary damage is 20. So it is 20, but then this is for the AoE damage and for the radius. So basically it takes your 20 for the normal caltrops and puts it into an area of effect. Secondary mana cost 45, kind of high, kind of on the expensive side, and then here's your gib chance. Now let's look at the upgrades. So the upgrades improves accuracy, maximum radius minus 0.5, and then again minus 0.5, and then again minus 0.5. That takes it from its initial 4 to 2.5. So it almost halves the radius. And then you have your acid damage here, so it gives it melting and acid, which melting is 50% bonus physical damage. When you get this, your damage becomes acid, it loses physical. So it does not buff itself. Well, I guess it buffs the secondary technically, but it doesn't buff its primary damage. And then here we have the AoE on secondary, and it just says that the secondary projectile use AoE is true. We took a look at that stuff here. All right, that's all we have for the game files. Let's just jump into a game and take a look at what it looks like. We're going to do, we're going to take a peek at accuracy, specifically for that. So if we are aiming right here in the middle of the door, you can see where the reticle ends up, those corner pieces. It's basically up against the railing of the door and then down towards the bottom of the door as well. So that's what it looks like, and then here's where it ramps up. You can see the ramping up speed. There it goes. Alright, now we're going to take a look at it with the accuracy upgrades. Alright, so here it is with the upgrades. You can see here that it's actually, yeah, quite a bit smaller. You know, the headshotting with this thing is pretty good. I mean, I guess if I move backwards, it'll... But yeah, it's significantly smaller. It's going to hit a lot more headshots. You know, it's relatively inaccurate. You can do the same thing you do with the crossbow where you reset the reticle, but it's not as bad. So with the crossbow, it opens, but then it takes a while to close. The Gatling gun doesn't take as long to close, but what you could do is you could alternate between... Oh, that's interesting. Some of those shots look like they're bouncing off. You see that? They're like shooting up there or something. Anyways, because whenever you have the crossbow and the bloom increases and you switch back over, that's a really fast way to like auto attack with something else. It's a really quick way to reset the bloom. But for the Gatling, I'm not sure that matters too much. Yeah, it's not as much. It's not as much. It does still help a little bit if you're really trying to micro it, but yeah, it's definitely not as necessary. So, anyways, cool. So that's going to be it for the hand Gatling. Let me know if you guys like the secondary in particular, but if not, you know, let me know if you like the weapon at all. I think it's up there. I mean, it's not as reliable, I guess, but especially if you're running Scramble and have Headshot grants coin or something, it's obviously the thing to take. Because you can get really, really close with the stone staff and just pummel enemies with headshots, big enemies usually. So it's pretty good against them whenever you have like the stone staff, or if you have the ice amulet. You just get nice and close with an armored ogre or mountain troll or something. You just shred their hit points by headshotting a bunch. So yeah, that being said, guys, as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow, stream on Twitch. I upload to YouTube, and I will catch you on the flip side. All right, deuces.